I'm Leonard Nimoy. Join me for In Search of
An Argument.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to In Search of an Argument. I'm Peg, and I'm here with my other regular co-hosts, John, Jim, and Shelly. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Peggy.
Hey, we're bringing you a abbreviated version of the podcast. And I think it's our third episode of what we're calling Top of Mind, where we're just going to quickly discuss what we're thinking about. Not sure if we have the rules. Do we have to raise our hands?
Are we gonna do it quickly in the sense of like we're gonna speak quickly, or is it that we're going to be? In what way is it going to be quick?
Well, it's just a shorter version of the podcast.
Okay,
That's what I mean by
Well,
quick.
you
You're
said
right.
quick.
Sorry, I'm
Okay. Yeah,
not the right descriptive word.
makes sense.
So, who wants to go first? John, what's top of your mind?
I'm happy to go. I'm happy to go first. I mean, it's for me. It's the pandemic. I'm thinking about the pandemic. I'm a little. It's a little disheartening this weekend as the holiday season is beginning to come quicker, and I think just exhaustion of pandemic soloness and away from friends and slightly more distant family is getting tiresome. I'm thinking more and more about getting together with people, and was kind of thinking about this weekend, maybe doing some even socially distanced visits to some people for just some outdoor hellos and things. And honestly, given the status of things in Illinois, they are, as of Monday, they're everything is they're being highly encouraged. It's one step short of a mandate, but they're highly encouraging us all to stay home and not do anything. And I think honestly by Monday or Tuesday, if the rates we've had the highest count infection rate totals every day for the last X number of days, and it just keeps growing. And if that keeps happening, it's going to be a mandate sooner than later. So I'm kind of like thinking about the pandemic and thinking about how absolutely ridiculous it is that we're in this position. And I have a bunch of subsequent thoughts to that in terms of why and what this means and the implications of it. But honestly, for me, it's mainly just you can't be around. We can't not talk about the pandemic at this day and time.
Peggy, your hand is up. You may speak.
Yeah, thank you, Shelly.
Peggy, you're the host.
Well, I was going to say my hand is up, so I'll go next. But I actually have a comment about what John just said, in that I know I've mentioned on the podcast before that I feel like I've been doing quite well with the pandemic, and have been luckier than a lot of people. And I really had a low point yesterday with the pandemic for all the reasons that John listed. And we had a quote unquote town hall meeting at work, and it was so bleak. And I just felt the numbers were so bleak, the positive employees were so bleak, the pleading with us to not celebrate Thanksgiving with anybody outside of your four walls of your home. And all of a sudden, and I was at home, I didn't go to work yesterday, I was working from home. I was just like, felt like, oh, this is so sad. And today, I had a better day. So it just happens.
I was mildly angry. I got into that whole that Joe Biden mentioning it's going to be a dark winter, and I don't know who pushed back, whether it was Trump or a whole series of other speakers or politicians who pushed back and said, "Oh, why is he saying that? You shouldn't be saying that." And it just makes me sick to think that there are people out there who, when there is something that is like empirically, shown to be hazardous, terrible, and dangerous, they would prefer to like stay in some like mamby-pamby sweet-see marketing universe of just positivity, even if it's in the face of like imminent death. It's just so depressing to me. And I mean, that's why I'm like, I don't need to be. I mean, yes, I want to be cheered up, but I also want to hear the truth. And I really am put off by the fact that I know that there are a large number of people, and it's not just, I mean, because of the number of people who voted for Trump, but there are a lot of people out there who just really, really want to like bury their head in the sand and ostrich their way through existence.
Shelly, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. So while I agree with you, John, I do think as a leader, and personally being a leader of a team right now, and being a leader in an organization, and being, Biden as the incoming leader, there's a very, very fine balance with expressing transparency with what's going on, but having to exude positivity and reassurance and hope, because if a leader is exuding doom and gloom, then it brings down everybody. And I
Mhm.
feel like there has to be a very fine balance with, so I think, saying that this winter is going to be a dark winter, everybody can interpret that in different ways. But I think, just to push back a little bit, I would like for him to be, yeah, we're going through a tough time, but look, folks, we're going to get through this. We're going to be stronger. We're going to be a
Mhm.
closer knit organization, group, whatever, country. I think that's, really all I needed to say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all that. I just
think he
I don't think it
actually,
should. Go ahead, Jim.
I think he actually has said that, Shelley.
Yeah.
I think that
Oh,
people
well, that's fine. I
focus
just
on the
don't listen.
one comment, and there may be
Yeah, when you got 280 characters.
non-neutral reasons why certain people choose to focus on that one comment.
On the
But
one
Biden
aspect, they
has
take it out.
repeatedly said that, look, we can do this. We're all in this together. We're going to get through this. The other thing I think that is important in terms of leadership is the current occupant of the Oval Office has, in the 10 days since the election, today was the first day he did any kind of acknowledgement
Yeah.
or even that there's this huge new wave of the pandemic. He's been brooding and tweeting for 10 days, whereas Biden, who's not even in office yet, has appointed a task force, has been meeting with people, has been trying to be active, proactive about being able to hit the ground running on that. And I think that also conveys a message, which is, look, it's not that Joe Biden or anybody can prevent the pandemic from happening, but the idea that somebody is working on the problem, actively working on the problem, and not just playing golf and brooding is, I think, also important in terms of the message it sends to people.
All right. So who wants to go next? I will. So on top of
Sorry.
Okay,
Like
Pegger.
all good hosts, Peggy just jumps the lane. But go ahead. Yeah.
top of mind for me, and I'm doing almost literally top of mind as I was driving home just now, I was thinking I should get back into snow skiing. I've really just been
Yes.
not interested in it in the last few years. And the couple times
Yes.
I've done it, I've been like, why do I do this? I'm cold. I feel like I'm going to commit suicide jumping off the chairlift.
Across
But
country, or it's just, or
downhill.
downhill? Oh, really? I just sold
Yeah.
my skis. How
It's
interesting.
expensive. It seems like a sport for the rich. You got to travel. And then all of a sudden I was just driving home and I was thinking, maybe I should start skiing again this winter.
That's awesome.
Well, it
That's
is
the most exciting thing
outdoors.
I've heard.
You do wear a
Thanks,
mask.
John.
And you probably don't get within 6 feet of the other skiers, so it's all probably
Yeah.
Yeah,
It sounds
I
like the
know.
smart thing to do.
I mean, the
It
last
does
time I
sound
did
like
it,
the
I was
smart thing
like,
to
this
do.
is fine, but I feel like I need to be in a gondola because I am suddenly afraid of heights. I do love cross country, and that's a good point, Shelly. Maybe I should just focus on that right here in the GR.
Well, also risk of injury at our tender age is much
Yep,
less cross
true.
country than downhill.
It's a shit ton cheaper.
Yeah,
But it's way less fun.
it
It's infinitely
is.
less fun than
It
downhill.
is.
I mean,
I
there's just no
agree.
comparison.
It's better
I've
exercise. It's
I
better
think about
cardio.
taking, yeah.
the
Oh, for
downhill
sure.
or
It's a
the
better
cross
workout.
country is better.
Cross
Cross
country.
country.
No comparison. It's way
That's
better
what
for
I
your
would
heart.
have guessed, but I have never been cross country or downhill skiing,
Oh, downhill skiing is
and
such
I
a
have
joy. Such a
no
pleasure.
interest.
And actually, when I ski in the Midwest, if I ever ski in the Midwest, Michigan often is the place where I go.
Yeah, we've got
Where
some
in
nice.
Michigan
Michigan's
do you
got some
go?
good ski areas
We do.
for
Where do you go in
for being a
Michigan?
flatland. I think there's a
And to
couple.
be
One place called
close, but it's way
Copper.
overpriced. But
I mean, it's
All right.
overpriced everywhere. It is. It's the same price if you go to like
Yeah, to go to
the best
Colorado, it's the same
Colorado
price to go to
mountain, or if
Boyne.
you go to right, exactly. It's the
But
same
you don't have to
price.
buy a plane ticket to go to Boyne. I mean, yeah,
Right. That's the
exactly.
only difference. That's the only difference.
All right, who'd
I
like
love
to
it,
go
Peg.
next?
Shelly, would you
Oh,
like to go or shall I go?
sure, I'll go. So, what's top of mind for me today and the last 3 days, or actually longer, has been a bunch of family medical issues. So, ranging from cancer scares to unknown GI things that have caused family members to go to the ER,
Oh my God.
to pregnancy, and to my nephew having COVID.
Oh.
So it's like just like this super bad week.
Okay, I have
um,
my
I'm
hand up.
sorry.
I have my hand up.
I can't give a lot of details, so if you need
Oh,
details,
just
it's gonna
shit.
have to be offline because I can't. Yeah,
That
but
Just
seems
did
like
I'll
provide
that.
answer as
details.
much as I can.
Okay,
Seems like
my number
having
one
the
question
details be
is
offline is a good
I
idea.
talk to you
Yes.
all the time via text, Marco Polo, even phone calls. Why don't I know any of this?
Uh,
Uh,
wow. That is so I don't know. I feel like I'm not going to talk about it on Marco Polo. I'm more than willing to talk about it on a phone call. Um and
So
some of it
basically, I
really
think Peg is she wanted to save it for top of mind.
Then
That's
yeah, she
call
wanted to
me.
save it for a
Then
public
call
So,
me.
announcement to
I
a
know, but some
podcast.
of it
Yeah.
really came to fruition like at 5:30 today.
Okay,
So
that's
Wow.
acceptable.
yeah, some of it was like, "Oh my god, please don't tell me one more thing about your family." Um so yeah, so that it's just
So it is a dark winter.
yeah, exactly. It's a dark 2020 to be
Right.
honest.
Yeah, well, we knew that already.
It's been a dark 8 years. No, go ahead. So
Well, I'm
that's mine.
sorry.
I'm
Okay,
gonna
I'm
fucking
sorry
kill you,
about that, but
Peggy.
I'm gonna effing kill you offline.
Excellent.
Well, I do think it's interesting that you do that. How you that phone, Peggy. The message there is only call Shelly and talk to her on the phone. Clearly, Marco Polo and
No.
messaging is like a vacuous cesspool of meaningless drivel that has nothing to do
Well, I
with
don't want to
reality.
get
It
into
is, but
it,
I
but I
should have
have
reached
called
out.
Shelly. I have called Shelly. In fact, I think I called her this week,
Am I
maybe.
You called her a
am I
liar.
let me
Er,
look.
yeah.
Peg and Shelley obviously have a wonderful, beautiful friendship, but am I the only one who observes that Shelley has just said that there are people in her family who are potentially quite ill, and the conversation is focused on whether Shelley should apologize to Peg?
Yes, it is.
It is.
That seems to me to be
A little off.
somewhat out of whack.
Yeah,
Well,
it is
And
true.
again,
It's true.
you guys have your friendship. It obviously works very well, and it's far be it from me to criticize the mechanics of it.
it's a
But
very good point, Jim. Peggy's point is very good too because she knows that when I'm in deep dire need, I immediately reach out to her and vent or seek her
I
sage
have not.
advice or just like talk me off a cliff or am I looking at this wrong? And I haven't for this.
And I agree with you, Jim. You're right, which is why when John said I'm sorry, I immediately said I'm sorry too, because I was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry.
But being in love doesn't mean
We
you
have
need to
to.
say
Being in
say
love means you
sorry.
never have to say you're sorry.
Yes,
That's the
exactly.
stupidest thing I've ever heard.
It is.
Um,
I agree, but okay.
Do you
We
know
say it
that
to each other.
that of course came from the movie Love Story,
Yes.
starring
Yes, which
Ryan
was
O'Neal,
directed in what year by who and what were they left-handed or
1970, directed by
right-handed and what
Arthur
color
Hillard,
eyes did they have?
starring Ryan O'Neal and Ali McGraw. But what the story I was going to make is
I didn't ask
2
about
years
who was
later,
starring. Anybody could answer
Peter
that. I want to know who.
Bogdanovich made a movie
You
called
got
What's
it.
Up Doc with Ryan O'Neal and Barbara Streisand. And at the end of the movie, one of them says to the other, "Love means never having to say you're sorry." And the other one says, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." It was a little joke about the fact that Ryan O'Neal had also been in Love Story.
Oh, it was a
I
dig on
like
that.
it. That is a serious inside joke. 4 people got, and you're one of them.
If you were a moviegoer in the early 70s, you got that because Love Story was pretty famous, both as a book and a movie, and that line was pretty famous.
You're one of the
Often
few
parodied.
people.
Often parodied. You guys are just too young. You all were too young to experience.
Okay,
That's it.
fair enough.
That
fair
is
enough.
it.
I mean,
Fair
I'm
enough.
older.
I'll take it. Whenever
So-
anyone says that, I say yes, regardless of whether
Exactly.
it's true
No,
or
I mean
even
it's
close.
true. I mean, the oldest of you was about 6 years old when the movie What's Up Doc came out.
Yeah.
So, and about
I
4
saw
years
it. I
old
saw
when
Love Story.
Yeah, but not when it came out when you were 2 or something, Peg.
No,
Peg,
that's
you were
true.
nostalgic as like a 9-year-old.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, she's so nostalgic for sure.
All right, I don't want to cut Shelly off because she has actually really not that John's stuff wasn't serious. Mine was
No,
not
we can move on.
serious.
Move
but
on.
do we want to move to Jim or has he already had a couple thoughts top of mind already?
We're moving to Jim.
Okay,
I vote
Jim.
moving to Jim.
I guess you're saying you don't want to hear what's on the top of my mind, Peg?
No,
Is that
we've heard some from you about some stuff, so I was just wondered if you already expressed it. But let's hear it, Jim.
That is not what's on the top of my mind. But if you're tired of this and you want to wrap things up, I'm certainly don't
Oh
want to
no,
tie
we
you
have
up.
plenty
may
of
have
time.
some others
Plenty
that
of
we
time.
She's
can-
Jim.
reprising her prior comment about what the definition of top of mind is. And suggesting
anyway,
that you said is it.
the top of my mind is as follows: that some of you may know that I like to listen to on Sirius XM radio that the decades channels, as in there's a 60s channel,
80s,
70s channel,
90s,
and an
70s,
80s channel.
60s. I love
And
it.
I like to listen to the countdowns that the 60s, 70s, and 80s channel do. The 70s channel every weekend actually does a rebroadcast of one of Casey Kasem's weekly countdowns from the 70s. And the 80s channel does a recreation of a week in the 80s using 3 of the 4 still living original MTV VJs, and the 60s channel also does a recreation. And so a couple of weeks ago, the 60s channel did the top 40 from November 4th, 1967, and once that's broadcast, it's also available on demand to Sirius XM listeners. So earlier today, I completed listening to that countdown for the 4th time because it's maybe my favorite countdown at all. It has some incredible range of songs from the 60s. It has a Marvin Gaye, Tammy Terrell duet. It has Gladys Knight and the Pips version of I've Heard It Through the Grapevine. It has uh, the only American top 40 charting for the great African singer Miriam Makeba. It has Dionne Warwick's version of I Say a Little Prayer for You. It has The Letter by the Bach Tops. The Doors are on there. And the number one song that particular week, which turned out to be the number one song for the entire year 1967, also happens to be my favorite song of all time, To Serve with Love by Lulu. So that's what
Do they
Oh,
align
that's a
these
good one.
top 40? Do they align these top 40s with like any historical other
yeah,
than
it relates basically to the week. So like
the same week?
if
Okay.
you're it's not I mean the dates don't always match up, but for example, they'll do ones these weekend that relate to the second or third week of November in one of the respective years from that decade. So 2 weeks ago the 60s did 67, last week they did 66. The 80s last week was 1980, was beginning of November of 1980.
Okay, I get it. I get it. All right, I get it. I get it. I
yeah.
get it.
I love it. I love the countdowns.
So I think I heard that on XM radio too, and I heard the song by Exile. I want to kiss you all over.
Not in the
wanna
60s.
kiss
That
you
would have been a
all
70s
over.
countdown, possibly.
Yeah,
but-
that's
And
what I mean. I think I
over
heard the 70s
again.
one, and I don't know if I've ever heard that song from the very beginning, and that is a jam.
It's
Oh
a
yeah.
dirty,
To the
dirty
night
song.
closes in.
Yeah, and the whole intro, the whole beginning musical intro is just groovy and a
I can't do that. I can't sing that.
jam.
Yeah.
That was a
I
good
can't
tune.
sing that. Well, you know,
That-
since
That
Jim,
part
Jim
of the
brought up
70s,
serious.
the second half of the 70s is not my favorite time for music, but too much disco.
Well, Jim, since you brought up Sirius FM, I read an article in I guess it was the Times about how maybe it was Wall Street Journal somewhere about how there's a a war on between Sirius FM, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple. They're fighting for the best podcasts and investing in them. So you guys just wait till we get tapped.
Yeah.
Yes, we are going to get tapped for sure.
I'm
Probably
sure
not that way,
If
but
not
another
that
way.
is going to happen, John, especially considering that there are approximately 350 million people in America, and I think all but 2 of them have their own podcast now.
You got to target small ones. Actually, Hillary Clinton's new one's a good one. She's pretty good. She sounds pretty good. And I felt really good. They had because she has. Who says no to Hillary Clinton? She had on some real hot shot.
The American people said no to Hillary.
She had some hot shot talking about the election and election night coverage. And what she said was special about election night coverage is exactly what I said about how I like the fact that they went to that local hot guy in Atlanta. She said, well, she didn't say about the
local
hotness.
hot
but
guy
I was gonna
was
say,
in
did
she
she
loved
say
the
Arizona.
local
exactly that?
thing.
The local hot guy
Yeah.
was in Arizona.
Yeah, it was Arizona. That's right, Arizona. So I felt really
remember better
validated.
than you do where the local hot guys that you see are.
Yeah, I remember. I know, Jim. It's why I keep you around.
I know. Everybody has to have some function in life.
Exactly.
There is some discussion that Hillary Clinton might be appointed by President Biden to be the ambassador to the United Nations.
I thought
Oh,
the gay guy
interesting.
was going to get that. Pete
Buttigieg?
Buttigieg.
That's
Yeah,
also been
that's the
discussed.
rumor I heard.
Also been
When is that? What are those announcements coming out soon? Huh?
I think probably, from what I understand, not till the beginning of December.
Okay, because Biden has to negotiate with McConnell for approvals.
Well, no, I don't think he's going to do that. At least not formally. I think he's
Does
going
Trump
to be
have
very
to?
All of the cabinet members have to be
approved
by the Senate.
But I think that he will be
Just like the
cautious,
Supreme
and he's
Court
not going
justices.
to. He's not going to raise. He's not going to appoint people that would, or he's
Bernie
going to try
Sanders?
to avoid raising a ruckus by appointing people that are going to tweak the tail, so to speak.
Yes.
But I don't think he will formally do that because at this point, the Democrats at least have some hope of winning those Georgia special elections and controlling the Senate. Although Chuck Schumer should really shut up about it because him making a big national thing out of those elections is probably not going to help the Democratic
Hey, Chuck
candidates.
Schumer was in the photo where John Ossoff's nose was enlarged to try to amplify the anti-Semitic rage.
Well, Chuck
Really?
Schumer's-
Seriously?
Schumer's-
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing
he-
that
yeah.
Chuck Schumer.
Produce a
I
pig,
think they
man.
should send Barack Obama down there to campaign and maybe Kamala Harris. But I'm guessing Chuck Schumer is not the winning guy.
No,
in
he's
state
not
of
the winning
Georgia.
vote. No,
So,
for sure.
um,
For sure.
he should just keep his mouth shut. That's the general.
I think a lot of people should just keep their mouth shut, including me.
No,
I thought you were going to
Peggy,
say
more
me,
and louder.
Peggy, but that was nice of you not to do that.
Not you.
No, I just think it's, yeah, I agree that Chuck Schumer should keep his mouth closed. It's, I heard him a soundbite today and I was just like, just don't talk. Let's wait. So he doesn't have to wait for Trump to concede before he can appoint cabinet members?
Well, I mean, officially, you can't. They won't take office till Biden takes office. Now, in the past, sometimes the Senate would actually begin. The new Senate comes in on January 3rd, which is 2.5 weeks before the president comes in. So sometimes in the past, the new Senate would actually begin the process of considering the nominations even before the president was nominated, more or less as a courtesy. I don't know whether that would be the case this time. But he can
isn't
still
the
say
challenge is
what he would
they have
what he would essentially say is, I intend to appoint so and so to be Secretary of State. So formally they don't take the job. He could appoint them on an acting basis while waiting for the Senate to act. And that may happen if in fact the Republicans try to hold up the nominations.
And isn't the holdup or the challenge is that the official, I don't know the right term, governing body hasn't said yes, officially Biden has won, and then the
Okay, there is
transfer
no
of duties.
official governing body.
But there's not a
That's
governing,
one
but
of the
there's like a
challenges.
there's like a
Every state has
national
their
something
own.
something.
Every state has their own rules about how the elections are certified. There is a rule that says that on presidential elections, electors have to be certified by each state no later than December 8th.
But there was I don't know, I read it somewhere that there's like the National Association of blah, blah, blahs that makes some kind of statement to the effect that now it's official. Because, like,
Well,
everything you look up says
The
it's
AP.
still not official.
well, it's not official officially. It doesn't become official until the Senate meets at the beginning of January and
Okay.
counts the electoral votes. But the Electoral College actually meets in December. They don't actually meet as one group, but
The
the
16th
electoral
or
votes
something.
are actually cast in December. So, what does it mean? Biden doesn't become president until noon on January 20th. Okay? So, what becomes official is, you know, you know, official. The United States also, by the way, has a very odd process compared to the rest of the world because most other countries do not have this 3 month lag between the election and the
Right.
new government taking
Right.
office.
Right.
So that's something to think about. That if there weren't this huge lag time between them, you could avoid some of these problems. Um, but whether there's any appetite to address that, I mean, I don't know.
Jim, has there ever been a losing contender candidate of a major party who has not conceded or has
You
not,
mean for the
basically
president of the
given?
United States?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know if you go back to the 19th century. It wouldn't surprise me if there were some. But in modern times, that's certainly not the case.
So there's never been so
But
if Trump
for
just doesn't ever
example,
concede, it's going to get messy.
no, it's not. Why will it get messy? What will get messy?
There's no process.
There is a process. The electors are chosen, and they cast their electors, and then they're counted when the Senate and the House convene in the beginning of January. There is a process.
What if there's
of course.
legal action pending? That's and the court holds that
I
up.
mean, what legal action that they're going to try
I
to?
don't know, one of these stupid fake lawsuits that Trump's filed.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So it
seem
sounds like
like
there's
that's
two
gonna,
things that could happen. So
No,
we have
there's
to
only
wait
one
for,
thing that can happen.
well, we have to, no, two. Trump could concede right now
But even
and
if you
acknowledge
concede,
and
first
need
of
it,
all,
but let me finish.
okay.
And then there's acknowledgement that Biden is the winner. He's not the official winner until the Senate agrees that he is, but from an optics standpoint, right now, Biden's
That's right.
not the
That's right,
winner,
Shelly.
right?
It's
So
a-
that's what I
it's
meant by
it,
the two.
it's more or less about optics because one candidate conceding that doesn't have any legal, you know,
No, but the outward
weight.
appearance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. It's all about optics. Look, it's about you know Trump being Trump because he's an asshole. And look, obviously he's disappointed and upset. I think that's not unusual when somebody loses an election. But let's just be clear that there are other candidates, not just Republicans, sometimes Democrats, who have lost close elections in the United States and have refused to concede. They aren't as high profile as being president of the United States, but it does happen sometimes. It's also
Yeah.
true that, uh, generally speaking, candidates for president in the United States, there, if you don't mind some ancient history, in 1960, there was a very close election, both in the popular vote in 1960 was much closer than it's turned out to be in this election. And the Electoral College was also close. And essentially, it came down to the fact that John Kennedy won both Illinois and Texas by very narrow margins. And those are the two states that essentially won him the Electoral College, sufficient number of electors. There is some reason to believe that in those two states in that particular election 60 years ago there may have been some fraudulent activity. in those days there was often less transparency about these things than there are now. Now
Vote
there's a
early,
lot
vote
of
often.
transit.
Mhm.
There was some accusation that in the city of Chicago there was some, essentially amounts to ballot box stuffing, and also in certain parts of Texas, which is of course where Lyndon Johnson was from, who was Kennedy's vice president. Uh, and there was a team of people that presented to Nixon this possibility, and Nixon, who is not always known to be a gracious loser, said no, it's not. It's too much to put the country through. Even if it has merit, it's still very probabilistic, and it's not worth putting the country through this
More
So
civilized
the
times.
third possibility though is there's no concession
Yes.
speech.
I don't think there will ever be a concession speech, in my opinion.
But then automatically on January 20th, he's
Yeah.
no longer president.
There is a little bit of a debate in circles in Washington. Will Trump actually show up for the inauguration? Because traditionally, the outgoing president, even if they were defeated in the election, shows up for the inauguration of the new president.
To like hand over the baton or
It's,
just
I mean, it's not again.
as a
It's not
courtesy?
required by law. It's part of the traditional ceremony. This all stems from in 1800. Thomas Jefferson beat his erstwhile friend John Adams in a very bitter election, very bitter.
Mhm.
And despite that, there was a amicable, the first time in this country, and in many respects the first time in the world, that there was an actual amicable handing over of power by what, essentially the highest ranked person in the land to another. And ever since then, that has been accomplished. Now, I can't guarantee that I'm not enough of a scholar to know if there were some bitter elections in the 19th century. There was a civil war in the 19th century. I don't know that all of them, everybody was gracious, but the tradition is that the outgoing president appears on the podium with the incoming president. And
Peggy's raising her hand. Now she's aggressively waving her hand.
I'm
So
sorry.
maybe you want to let her jump in.
Go ahead.
Yes, I thank you, John, for noticing. And Jim,
You're the host, Peg. You can interrupt.
okay,
Yes, you
I
can.
just want to say this is top of mind, so we're trying to keep it short.
I was just answering questions that
I
people
know,
were
I know, I
asking.
know. And you're doing a great job and it's very interesting, but I think we have to stick to top of mind. Otherwise, we're going to have another second podcast on our hands. So I think we need to wrap it up. So, Shelly, why
Yeah,
don't
a
you take us
podcast
out?
I
that's
think
like
that's a
depth.
splendid idea.
Okay, so folks, that's all the time we have for this evening's Top of Mind. As always, we thank you for patiently listening to our Top of Mind and other topics
Patiently.
that we rabbit holed into. we
Patiently. Yes, as opposed to.
not. We want to a special thanks to a lot of editing that's probably going to take place by Justin Mullins.
Not on this episode, but that's all right.
Just let
He
it go,
does do a
Jim. It
lot of
doesn't
episodes.
matter. Let it go. Just give
And
it.
Ted and Lean for the music. If you like this podcast, please help us. It will help us enormously if you rate us in iTunes, write a review, send us a voice memo, give us some suggestions, complaints, ideas. We'd love that. You can also check us out by emailing us and doing all of
In
those
search
same
of an argument at
things.
gmail.com.
Yes, thank you, John.
Yeah, sure. No
Be
problem.
sure to join us again for our regular full time span when we talk about some really cool things coming up
You have to be
next.
even more patient then, because
No, the next one is going to be super exciting. I'm thrilled about the next one.
Me too. I am too. Thanks. Love that, Shelly.
Take care.
bye.
Bye.